Hey guys, welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm planning from July 10th to the 16th, and I'm using this pink planner shop kit called Clean Girl. I was hoping to someday use this kit for a week of me just like getting my life together and grocery shopping and like cooking, but we honestly don't know if that will ever happen at this point. So I decided to whip it out for this week because this was the week of my grandmother's 89th birthday, and her favorite colors are teal and like peach and like light blush pink colors, specifically teal. But yeah, the color scheme of this kit is very similar to her old interior design colors from the 80s. So we're just using it. This week was definitely one of the more stressful weeks I've had, and I know you're probably thinking that's hard to believe because pretty much every single one of my plan with me's is me complaining about how much I hate everything and how stressed I am and how tired I am. Well, this week was that, I guess like times maybe 3. It was not a good week. There was a lot of bad news regarding my job. I've talked about some of it on Instagram, but this was the week where like shit really hit the fan. I don't know if I've ever mentioned exactly what my position is, but I am administration and sales assistant. So I take care of like all of the like accounts payable, receivable, customer service stuff and paperwork and like basically any other stuff, like little dumb stuff that my boss needs me to do. And then I also just help her make not sales calls, but like the gist of it is if we have what we call like a warm lead, I'll call them and see if they would like an appointment with her. And so if any of you are ever wondering when I'm like, I really hate making these calls, those are the calls I don't like making. When I'm doing like when I'm calling people to get payments, I'm fine. When I'm calling people to annoy them about potentially setting an appointment, I want to vomit. And you're probably wondering, why did you take this job if you can't make phone calls? And 2 main reasons. One, it's a lot of administrative experience. So this really was just I'm just doing it for that type of experience. And number 2, it was remote 4 days a week. Notice how I say was. So the gist of what happened this week was that I got a lot of news about how they want to turn my position much more salesy. And I also found out that we would be going into the office 2 days a week. It actually gets worse than that. Spoiler alert, it's now 3 days a week, but at the time, I was told it was going to be 2 days a week, and even that, I was already like, I'm so tired, I don't think I can add another 6:30 a.m. day to my life. I know everybody else does it, I can't. That's why I was exclusively job hunting for 1 day in office or less. That's the only reason I took this job, so yeah. I also got locked out of my building this week, which was pretty stressful. There was a lot more drama regarding my passport, and then on top of that, it was my grandmother's surprise birthday party on Saturday, and I was responsible for, I offered, so it's my fault, but I was responsible for bringing a pretzel platter, and her party started really early, and it's an hour away, so I had to get up really early on Saturday and make sure I got the platter and everything, and yeah, but anyway, we'll get to all that. Starting with Monday, the first thing I marked was that I walked to work because it was an in-office day. And this day we had a very stressful meeting with the main office of our company. It's a European company, so the meeting was at 8 a.m. for us. And it's when we basically learned that they want me pretty much exclusively making phone calls, and if someone does not want to set an appointment, they want me to call them back the next day and the next day and the next day until they say yes, literally like a telemarketer or a scammer. So I'm really not comfortable with that, and I got off the meeting. It's safe to say I wasn't happy. The guy now in charge of sales in Europe. He's a Nepo baby, and he worships those like finance bros on YouTube who never actually give you any advice and just want to sell you their overpriced, lessons and classes and what is that called? When you take I'm blanking on the word, but you know what I mean. Like they sell you this whole package of videos for like an astronomical price and then never tell you anything. He worships those dudes. So yeah, my job just took a huge 180. The company is changing and I need to get the hell out. So that was the meeting. I did get a little bit of good news this day. I was also incredibly stressed because this was officially the deadline for my roommate and me to decide if we were moving or staying. And thank God she agreed to stay for another 6 months. She really doesn't want to move out until she absolutely has to. And I'm just so relieved because that just I could have cried tears of joy. I've just been so stressed. That just took one huge thing off my plate. So that was good. Some good news for once. Got to use one of my happy stickers. It's been a while. And then I decided to also walk back. Joe did offer to pick me up, but I said no just because I really wanted the extra exercise, even though it was 90 degrees outside and the sun was directly in my face. So that probably wasn't very healthy of me, but we did it. I did scroll for a little bit on TikTok. I just felt like I had earned it. And then Joe and I walked to 7-Eleven and got free Slurpees. I only took a sip of mine and then I pretty much tossed it. It's too sweet, honestly, for me now. I used to love them. And then we walked to CVS and Joe had $4 in extra care bucks and he just let me use it to buy more liners because that's, if you saw one of my other Plan With Me's, I'm just bleeding constantly. So that was very nice of him to give me $4 worth of liners. And then I read before bed. Tuesday, the first thing I marked was that I was locked out of my building. I had to drive home to start work at 8 a.m. and I got home and was locked out. I went on like a huge tangent about this, so I will save you all of that. But the gist of it is my new neighbors decided to lock this door that nobody in the building locks because nobody has a key. So I ended up having to drive back to Joe's place because nobody else had a key to let me in and nobody had their number because they're new in the building and I needed to start work. So I marked that I cried my way back to Joe's place and I was finally able to get my new neighbor's phone number from my old neighbor's realtor. Like he was so unhelpful the whole time. He's like, I don't have their number. I just went through a realtor. I don't know. My realtor did everything. I'm like, then give me your realtor's number. Like, I'm locked out of the building. And fortunately, the new neighbors gave me a copy of the key, so that won't happen again. But it's actually still an issue, and we will get to it eventually, but not right now. It's just, yeah, it just sucks. But I got a copy of the key, so at least there's that. I did a load of laundry while working, and then I also vacuumed and just did an arms and abs workout, just something little, still really not in the swing of things as far as fitness is concerned. And then I marked that I actually cooked dinner this night. I think I did chickpeas and broccoli with buffalo sauce, I want to say, this day. And then I just marked that I did all the planner things because I did. I did a spread, I pulled stickers, I did a voiceover, I just did all the things. And then the final thing for Tuesday was that I ran the dishwasher. Wednesday was officially my grandmother's 89th birthday, so I marked that. And then, unfortunately, there was more passport drama. I got my expedited birth certificate that I paid $93 to get in time. I finally was able to pick it up from the UPS access point. And again, walked in the 90-degree weather to get it, and it really wasn't that close. It was actually farther than the UPS store is from my place. The UPS store is 8 minutes away by foot, and this place was 15 minutes away by foot. So got some steps in at least. And then I told my boss that I got it in the mail, and then she's like, oh, great, can you overnight it to the passport agency? And I was just like, oh, it's going to be expensive. So, yeah, it was never ending. Fortunately, my boss agreed on a lot of things regarding the meeting that we had on Monday. She is not for hounding people and not taking no for an answer and lying to people and harassing people, which are all things that the European office wants the two of us to start doing. And she told me, like, don't do anything you're not comfortable with. They also don't want us sending emails anymore because they think it's a waste of time, and they just want us to call, which for my anxiety is a huge no. I physically can't. Like, my body will not allow me to just make phone calls without breaks in between. I just can't do it. Like, I need the emails. And fortunately, she agrees that we should continue to email because at this point we get more appointments set via email than by phone by a long shot. So that's a small relief that she and I are on the same page with that stuff. I also deep cleaned the cat area this day, and just if things weren't stressful enough, I lifted up their water fountain and found an infestation of microscopic tiny little bugs, like thousands of them. And it became a 2-day project because I had to scrub the water fountain, scrub the mat. I cleaned the floor and the wall and then bug sprayed it. And then I had to move all their stuff so that they wouldn't be eating by chemicals to the other side of the apartment. And it was just like a nightmare. Then I did a workout. I did a plan with me. I filmed, that's what I meant. And I did a voiceover. And then I watched The Idol and ate some watermelon to relax. The Idol was entertaining, I guess. Not great. But I just wanted like an easily digested show that I could watch by myself, so I chose that. And then a little light in my life, I got some mail from a planner friend. She sent me some of her stickers that she wasn't going to use, and rather than just tossing them, she sent them to me, and that was really, really nice. It just, best part of my day. My day was shit, so I really appreciated that. That was a nice way to end things. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked was that I went to the post office right when it opened and overnighted my birth certificate. I say that with air quotes because I actually did 2-day. Overnighting it was double the price, and 2-day was already going to cost me $20. Like, I am just burning money getting this passport in time for a work trip, and I'm too scared and don't have enough of a backbone to demand them cover all these extra costs I'm incurring to get it in time. I'm too scared, but at the same time, I'm also really upset that I'm spending like an extra over $110 at this point to get it in time. So yeah, I'm just really angry at the additional cost in order to do something that I don't even want to do. So not happy about that. So I lied and I said I overnighted it, but I only 2-day aired it. I just could not. The thought of spending $40 to get this thing on time, huge no. I just marked that I was over it at work because I'm totally over it at work. And then I got even more bad news this day. My boss called me on Teams to let me know, instead of just messaging me, that she had talked to the European office and they were now asking us to go in 3 days a week, but she compromised with them and it's going to be 2 days a week. And she was, telling me that she understood that I was hired to just come in for 1 day a week, and that wasn't, what was agreed upon, but her hands were tied and they pull rank and she can't do anything about it. So I just started spiraling and almost burst into tears when she told me that, but I think I was just too numb at this point from like everything else that happened already this week. And then after work, I drove down to South Philly because my uncle and his partner asked if I had like a birthday banner or if, they needed one. And so I wanted to get my grandmother a pretty one because she wouldn't like a primary color, rainbow colored happy birthday banner. So I went down to South Philly to find one, and I went to Dollar Tree first. They were sold out. I went to Walmart. They were sold out. And then I finally went to Target, and they had one. So I wish I had just gone there first, because Dollar Tree and Walmart were nightmare of a time. I also went to Old Navy to try to find this stupid Foo Fighters shirt for Joe's birthday. They didn't have it. So I ended up being out for 2 hours when I probably could have been out for just an hour. So that sucked. I then filmed a talk through, which I think I am going to post. It's a little bit boring, but I feel like if I do more of them, I'll get better at it. But you let me know, please. Let me know what you think when I post it. And then I ended the night just watching 1408. I started it while I just pulled some stickers. Moving on to Friday, again, I just marked that I was sick over work, because I ran on my break, and then after work I showered and then finished the book, Then She Was Gone, and Then She Was Gone. I blew through that book compared to the last one. The last one took me months, this one took me a week, so maybe a little bit more than a week. But yeah, it was good. It was not as thrilling as I hoped, but it was definitely good. Obviously I finished it pretty quickly. Then I just had to pack up. I originally wanted to sleep at my apartment before my grandmother's birthday, just so I'd have all my outfits and my makeup and stuff here. But unfortunately, that just wasn't going to work, because we needed to leave extra early, because Joe needed to do some work stuff on the way. So I packed up my stuff and went to Joe's. And one good thing that happened on Friday was, when we saw my grandmother last, she had this pair of white pants that the dry cleaners couldn't get a stain out of, and Joe worked his magic and got a stain out of it. So that was her birthday gift. She got her favorite pants fixed. So yeah. Moving on to Saturday. First thing I marked was that I had to get up early. I got up at 9. I thought that was going to be enough time, and it was, but at the time I thought I was running late. I got ready, and then just leaving Joe's apartment was an absolute clusterfuck, because I didn't realize that my water bottle was open, and I poured about 8 ounces or 16 ounces, I'm not even sure, 8 to 16 ounces of water into the tote bag that I was using to bring I was bringing a yogurt for the ride and the birthday banner, and I got water everywhere. Fortunately, some of it stayed in the bag and I was able to dump it outside, but there was water all over Joe's floor. It was terrible. We ended up leaving 10 minutes later than we wanted to, and then when we got outside, my tire was low, so I had to fill that, so that added another 5, and I was just stressed. So then we did Joe's work stop. I called the pretzel place ahead of time so that they could prepare the platter and I could pick it up. And that was great. That was really easy. They were really helpful, and it was ready right when we got there. And we ended up being early to the party, earlier than everybody. We beat everyone. I was very proud, because I hate being late, and we are always late to things. So I marked that we had the surprise party. Don't worry, the surprise was very calm. We were not going to scream at a nearly 90-year-old woman. And then we just stayed way too late, and a lot of it was because of me. I just really didn't want to go back to Philly and face all my problems. How sometimes changing your environment helps you feel better. The thought of going back to Philly was making me really depressed. So we stayed really, really late. My friend / roommate also came to the surprise party. My grandmother loves her. And if you remember from a previous plan with me, her car was stolen. So her mom dropped her at the party, and then I drove her back to Philly with me. And I just used this little garbage ghost to mark that I drove her back home, because I was taking her from her mom's beautiful giant house with a pool back to our shitty apartment. And then I ended Saturday with an excruciating stomach ache. Luckily Joe had Pepto-Bismol, which saved the day, but I was up for hours, probably till 3 a.m. just in so much pain from my stomach. And then finally, moving on to Sunday, I marked that I was depressed because it's Sunday. And even though I didn't have anything an event this day, that almost made it worse, because all I wanted to do was sleep until I was dead. So I marked that I was depressed. My stomach was still feeling a little bit weird. And then I basically went right back to bed and took a depression nap. And then Joe wanted to clean his AC units, so I sort of helped. I say that very loosely, like I barely helped. We did go food shopping, which was really good. I needed a lot of things from just like Aldi and I think Acme is where we went, so that was cool. And then I still had a Cold Stone gift card from my old bosses from when I nannied last, and it was also like $10 off, I think, at Cold Stone. It was like some ridiculous amount off. They do it like once or twice a year, so we decided to treat ourselves to Cold Stone, and it was free, so that was cool. And then we stopped at my apartment to drop off all of my groceries so I wouldn't have to like worry about figuring out how to get them to my apartment from his place. It just made sense to drop them off. And then the final thing for Sunday, I finally tried on some bras I had ordered from Victoria's Secret, and honestly none of them really fit. I ended up keeping one because it's to that point where that's how desperate I am for a bra that fits. I just kept the one that fit the best because all of my new bras are ripped and torn, and like I think they're older than 10 years. They're like 15 to 12 years old, all of my nude bras. So yeah, so that was not that fun, but at least it came with a pair of free underwear, so that's cool. Anyway, thank you for sticking around to hear about just one of the most stressful weeks I've had in a really long time. But I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope this wasn't too depressing, or that, I don't know, it makes you feel better about your own life. I'm not sure. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.